welcome to GospelKorea TV. Claire is a Harvard graduate who got a secure job at Deloitte accounting firm. The job which, according to her own words, she had worked really hard to get and meant a lot to her. But she was sacked over a video she posted on her social media. Does that sound like a breach of freedom of speech or her privacy? Well, watch this video and decide for yourself.
The next person who has the sheer nerve, the sheer entitled caucasity to say all lives matter, I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna stab you. And while you're struggling and bleeding out, I'm gonna show you my paper cut and say, my cut matters too.
In a normal context, what she said was a death threat, and over this video, her employer, Deloitte, fired her. I think she forgot the fact that death threats are exempt from the tolerance range of the freedom of speech. I guess she was trying to gain popularity by radically supporting Black Lives Matter while denouncing the idea that contradicts BLM, which is All Lives Matter. And although she might have gained the popularity she desired, since the video went viral on the internet, she lost her dream job. What's really interesting, though, is what she said after her termination from Deloitte. Watch this video.
Trump supporters took my job away from me. I've gotten death threats, rape threats, violent threats. It was okay. But now it doesn't make my future. My future is entirely compromised because Trump supporters have decided to come for my life. God, this sucks. You guys suck. I'm too strong for you. I'm too strong for any of you. All lives matter. Raises Trump supporters. It sucks, but it doesn't suck as much as systemic racism.
She said that Trump supporters took her job away from her, implementing that she got fired because of Trump supporters. I'm quite surprised how she doesn't recognize her own mistake of posting a death threat video, which, by the way, she later claimed that it was clearly a joke. How can threatening to stab someone clearly be a joke? If she hadn't posted such a video in the first place, then this wouldn't have happened to her. Claire graduated in May 2020 with a degree in government and psychology from Harvard. So she's supposed to be intelligent, but what she said and did were rather foolish. I feel sorry for her, not because she got fired from a great job, but because she refuses to accept her mistake, as is the case for so many youth nowadays who have been brainwashed with postmodernism and progressive ideology. I feel sorry that her passion for BLM has blinded her from respecting the dignity of all lives that God created. BLM is a Marxist ideology. It's a Marxist movement. In fact, everybody who cared enough to search or cared enough to look into it would know that its intentions has nothing to do with actually helping the black community. Its leaders are trained Marxists. They said it themselves. It has everything to do with Marxist ideology, and these people are using the LGBT, the minority groups, the black community, the Islam, anti-abortion, and etc. as their vehicle to achieve their ideological agenda. Their ideological agenda is to denounce capitalism and democracy and build totalitarian and socialism state in America. So to be frank, these so-called minority groups I've just mentioned are the victims of their ideology movement, which is very sad. Now, to be fair, not everyone who supports BLM is a Marxist. I believe majority of them do not even know the ideological agenda behind all this. But the fundamental question we must ask is, why are the young people nowadays so obsessed with the Marxist ideology? I can't possibly understand every single motive in everyone, but generally it's the feeling of inequality that compels them to support Marxism. It's like, it's unfair that more black people are in prison than the whites, or it's unfair that rich gets richer, the poor gets poorer. It's unfair that the whites are paid higher wages than the blacks, or it's unfair that there are more white politicians than the blacks or the Asians. Well, I want to share good news to the young people watching this video. You don't have to join them and feel the same way. You don't have to choose to be bitter about your situation. Instead, you can choose to trust in God and work hard to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. Yeah, but I wasn't born in a rich family, so I don't get as many opportunities as the rich people. Well, I get it. But don't let that condition stop you from receiving the fullness of God's promise in your life. When you trust in God, then you will build intimacy with God. And when you do that, your heart will change, which means your attitude and your perception will change. Then the world will no longer look unfair because you know for sure that you are favored by God. I have hit the rock bottom in my life, and I've also seen God's miraculous breakthrough for me. And I realize that no matter what our circumstances are, there is nothing impossible for God. And He can lift you up and show His glory through you. Stop worrying about things like others have more than you and you have less than them. Stop whining, stop complaining. Your life is your responsibility. And if anything goes wrong in it, it's your fault. It's not someone else's fault. It's not Donald Trump's fault. It's not Trump supporters' fault. It's not the government's fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's your fault. If you're just willing to ask God to help you, God can show you your strength and your competitiveness and help you develop them. Humble yourself before God and pray that you will also receive and you will also experience God's breakthrough in your life. Thank you for watching this video. Jesus loves you.